Our Rutland community has a rich history. In the 1850s, Rutland became the railroad center of Vermont. The success of the Vermont Marble Company brought in people from a wide variety of backgrounds and culture. Now Rutland is welcoming 100 Syrian refugees to town as we turn the page into the next chapter of our history. We sat down with a local historian, school, and business officials to discuss Rutland's history of immigration and what's ahead for our community. Inside the Rutland Historical Society, Jim Davidson flips through a photo album containing pictures of immigrants in Rutland County during the late 19th century. The stunning images reveal the many faces of immigrants to Rutland, Vermont from around the world.
There were people that came from Poland, some recruited and some just came from Poland in the late 1890s. There was a Chinese family that came and established a Chinese laundry. There were people who came from mostly German Jews and Russian Jews who came. The Metzger family were one of those German families that came. They did upholstery and then had a big awning business. But these people were kind of independent, successful people shortly after they arrived.
Many people can describe their family history of coming to America, including Rutland City Schools Superintendent Mary Moran.
I think that the history in Rutland City and in Vermont and in America, and where I grew up in Boston, is a history of immigrants. My grandparents were Welsh and Irish immigrants. Poor folks came to Boston quite some time ago when it was really difficult and folks weren't even accepted terribly well then. So it's always been a challenge, but I think it's been a strong part of our American history and culture.
The Vermont Refugee Resettlement Program will be administering the resettlement of the 100 refugees, with a full-time office opening up in Rutland City. According to Mayor Loris, integration into the community is key to success, and the first step is English language learning in children and adults. The Rutland City school system is prepared to welcome the refugees. According to Mary Moran, there are already over 20 English language learning families enrolled.
Having ELL students and families come to Rutland isn't brand new, so we have a track record and experience, and we want to build upon that, not only for the children, but for their families and anything else that we can do to support. The Refugee Project will have 2 full-time staff members here who will help with relocation, with job finding, with home finding. I think they will help to support the adult language learners if there are some. And again, we don't know what the needs will be. There may well be any number of the refugees who will have good English. They may not have intensive needs, they may have some needs. The other thing is that, as we understand it, they'll be coming incrementally, starting in October, throughout the course of the year. So as new members of our community arrive, we'll have to assess, figure out what the needs are, and go forward from there. That presents a little bit of a challenge because we don't know who and how many and what age group they're going to be in. But I do believe we'll be able to manage that throughout the fall, and then if we have to adjust in the spring, we'll make those adjustments when the time comes.
Sarah Gilbert from the Rutland Economic Development Corporation is looking forward to meeting her new neighbors. She predicts that after the transition period, these individuals will become a vital part of our compassionate community.
I was really excited to hear the news about the Syrian refugees who will be coming here in October, and part of what made that so exciting from an economic development perspective for me was the idea that we would be welcoming some new families and some new workers who would be willing to contribute to our economy by taking, in this case, entry-level jobs, but hopefully will be staying here, learning English, learning about the community, and then once they have all of that transition settled, becoming members of our workforce with a diverse range of skills.
Although there are many unknowns about the people who are making the journey to Rutland, Sarah says she's focusing on what she does know.
One thing that I've tried to remember when I think about people coming and working jobs here is that back in Syria, they had careers, they had potentially businesses. We don't know who's coming, so we don't know what kinds of skills, we don't know what kinds of careers people might have had, but we do know that they come with full lives, with experiences, and with a lot of rich possibilities for doing all kinds of things in this area, not just necessarily those entry-level jobs that will help them learn English. So I'm excited about bringing some variety and some diversity and some more people.
PEGTV and Access will continue to keep you informed in the days ahead as we enter this new era for Rutland.